All right. So we now move on to question number 61. Drag and drop the AAA function from the left onto the correct AAA service on the right. All right, here we have got identifies the user. All right, so identifies the user. So where is the identifies the user? I have found the identify the user. It should go to identifies the user authentication. All right, identifies the user goes to authentication, not authorization. All right. Authentication identifies the user authentication, then verifies the password associate with the user, verifies the password associated with a user. That's again authentication. And then we have restricts the service that are available to a user. Restricts the service that are available to user. That goes to authorization. And then controls the action that a user can perform. Controls the action that a user can perform. Controls the action that a user can perform goes to authorization. And then records user activities. That goes to accounting. All right. And then what we have, provides analytical information for the network administrator is accounting. Which one is left? This one, provides analytical information for the network administrator is for accounting. So 2 of each, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Once again, records the user activities goes to accounting. And then restricts the service that are available to user. Provides analytical information for the network administrator. Provides analytical information for the network administrator goes to accounting. Identifies the user goes to authentication. Verifies the password associated with the user goes to authentication. Restricts the service that are available to a user goes to authorization. And controls the account that a user can perform goes to authorization. All right, let's move on to question number 62. Which action does the router take as it forwards a packet through the network? Option A, the router replaces the original source and destination MAC addresses with the sending router MAC address as the source and neighbor MAC addresses as the destination. Option B, the router encapsulates the original packet and then includes a tag that identifies the source router MAC address and transmit it transparently to the destination. Option C, the router encapsulates the source and destination IP addresses with the sending router IP address as the source and a neighbor IP address as the destination. And option D, the router replaces the source and destination labels with the sending router interface label as a source and the next hop router label as a destination. And the right answer is option A. The router replaces the original source and destination MAC address with the sending router MAC address as the source and neighbor MAC address as the destination. Which action does the router take as it forwards a packet through a network? The router replaces the original source and destination MAC addresses with the sending router MAC address as the source and neighbor MAC addresses as the destination. Question number 63. A port security violation has occurred on a switch port due to the maximum MAC addresses count being exceeded. Which command must be configured to increment the security violation count and forward as SNMP tap? A port security violation has occurred on a switch port due to the maximum MAC address count being exceeded. Which command must be configured to increment the security violation count and forward as SNMP trap? Option A, switch port security violation access. Option B, switch port dash security violation protect. Option C, switch port dash security violation restrict. Option D, switch port dash security violation shutdown. The right answer is option C, switch port port security violation restrict. Alright, let's move on to question number 64. Which command prevents password from being stored in the configuration as plain text on a router or switch? Which command prevents password from being stored in the configuration as a plain text on a router or switch? A. Enable secret. B. Service password encryption. C. Username Cisco password encrypt. Option D. Enable password. And the right answer is option B, service password dash encryption. That command prevents password from being stored in the configuration as a plain text on a router or a switch. Question number 65. Refer to the exhibit. This is an exhibit. Switch SW1, switch 1. So spanning tree VLAN 30. What two conclusions should be made about this configuration? Choose two. Option A, the designated port is fast Ethernet 2x1. This is a root bridge. Option B, this is a root bridge. Option C, the spanning tree mode is rapid PBST plus. Option D, the spanning tree mode is PBST plus. Option E, the root port is fast Ethernet 2x1. If we look at the command line, you can see the port number 1, fast Ethernet 2x1. So option E says the root port is fast Ethernet 2x1. We can see priority 32,798 address, and then cost 19, hello time 2 seconds, max edge 30 seconds, forward delay 20 seconds, and root ID. So this should be the root bridge ID. Spanning tree enabled protocol RSTP. You can see protocol RSTP, rapid spanning tree protocol, and you can see VLAN 0030. So this should be rapid spanning tree protocol, rapid per VLAN spanning tree protocol. Option C says the spanning tree mode is rapid per VLAN spanning tree plus, rapid PBST plus. The other options are incorrect. The designated port is fast Ethernet 2x1. No, that port is not designated port. That port is root port, because this information is for root ID. So the root port is fast Ethernet 2x1. So the designated port is fast Ethernet 2x1 is incorrect. This is a root bridge. So option is a wrong option. It says a designated port is fast Ethernet 2x1. This is incorrect. Fast Ethernet 2x1 is the root port, not the designated port. So option B says this is a root bridge. This is again incorrect. Incorrect. Why? Switch 1 is not the root bridge, because it has a root port and references another MAC as root. It has a root port and references another MAC as root. Option D is incorrect. The option D says the spanning tree mode is PBST. It's incorrect. PBST plus, it's incorrect. Incorrect. Why? PBST plus uses legacy STP, not RSTP. Option E says the root port is fast Ethernet 2x1, which is correct. Option C says the spanning tree mode is rapid PBST, which is correct. Question number 66. An engineer is configuring data and voice services to pass through the same port. The designated switch interface, fast Ethernet 0x1, must transmit packets using the same priority for data when they are received from the access port of the IP phone. Which configuration must be used? The right option is option A. The option A says interface fast Ethernet 0x1, switch port priority extend cost 7. The other option are incorrect. Other option says interface fast Ethernet 0x1, switch port voice VLAN untagged. Option C says interface fast Ethernet 0x1, switch port voice VLAN .1q. Option D says interface fast Ethernet 0x1, switch port priority extend trust. So other options are incorrect. The option A says interface fast Ethernet 0x1, switch port priority extend COS 7. An engineer is configuring a data and voice services to pass through the same port. The designated switch interface fast Ethernet 0x1 must transmit packets using the same priority for data when they are received from the access port of the IP phone. Which configuration must be used? The option A says interface fast Ethernet 0x1, switch port priority extend COS 7. Question number 66. What is a benefit of using Cisco wireless LAN controller? The right option is option D. Option D says it eliminates the need to configure each access point individually. It eliminates the need to configure each access point individually. What is the benefit of using Cisco wireless LAN controller? Benefit of using Cisco wireless LAN controller: it eliminates the need to configure each access point individually. It eliminates the need to configure each access point individually. Question number 67. Refer to the exhibit. Which command provides this input? Which command provides this output? Which command provides this output? Option A says show IP route, B says show IP interface, C says show interface, D says show CDP neighbor. What the question is asking: router capabilities code R router, T S switch, H host, D remote, C VTAM, 2 port MAC relay, device ID, local interface, host name, capabilities, platform port ID. Option D says show CDP neighbor. Which command provides this output? If you put the command show CDP neighbor, you can see device ID, 10.2 1.2 1.2 1.2, then local interface G 37 by 3, 37 by 1, 36 by 41, blah blah blah. So this is from so CDP neighbor, not so CDP, so IP route, so IP interface, so interface, so CDP neighbor is the right answer. Of question number 68, what is a characteristics of cloud-based network topology? Option A says option A, wireless connections provide the sole access method to services. This is the characteristics of cloud-based network topology. Wireless connections provide the sole access method to services. Wireless connections provide the sole access method to services. What is the characteristics of cloud-based network topology? Option A, wireless connection provide the sole access method to services. Option B says on-site network services are provided with physical layer 2 and layer 3 components. Option C says services are provided by a public, private or hybrid deployment. Option D says physical workstation are configured to share resources. So right answer is option A, wireless connections provide the sole access method to services. Question number 69, what event has occurred if a router sends a notice level message to a syslog server? Option A says a TCP connection has been torn down. Option B, an ICMP connection has been built. Option C, an interface line has changed status. Option D, a certificate has expired. When an interface line has changed status, then router starts sending a notice level messages to a syslog service when an interface line has changed status. So option C is the right answer. An interface line has changed status. Option A is not correct. Option A says a TCP connection has been torn down. Option B says an ICMP connection has been built. Option D says a certificate has expired. So when the router send a notice level messages to a syslog when an interface line has changed status. So question number 70, refer to the exhibit. Switch 1, VLAN 200, VLAN 200, PCA, PCB. Which outcome is expected when PCA send data to PCB? Option A, the switch rewrites the source and destination MAC addresses with its own. A switch rewrites the source and destination MAC addresses with its own. Option B says the source MAC addresses is changed. Option C says the source and destination MAC addresses remain the same. The destination MAC option D says the destination MAC addresses is replaced with fff.fff.fff.fff. So option C is the right answer. The source and destination MAC address remain the same. Which outcome is expected when PCA send data to PCB? When PCA send data to PCB, the source and destination MAC address remains the same. Question number 71. Refer to the exhibit. After the election process, what is the root bridge in the HQ LAN? HQ1, HQ2. We have two routers. HQ1 has switch 1, switch 3. HQ2 is connected with switch 2, switch 4. But switch 3 and switch 4 are connected. Switch 1 and 2 are connected. Switch 2 and 4 connected. 4 and 3 connected. 3 and 1 is connected. And switch 1 is connected with both router. Switch 2 is connected with the both router. After the election process, what is the root bridge in the HQ LAN? Switch 1, switch 2, switch 3, switch 4. The right answer is option C, switch 3. So here we have got switch 3. Switch 3, OC. Everyone has OC, OE. So switch 3 has the cost or priority 9A, which is less than the other. Explanation: the root bridge is determined by the lowest bridge ID, which consists of the priority value and MAC addresses. Because the priority value of all the switches are not available, the MAC address is used to determine the root bridge, because S3 has the lowest MAC addresses. S3 becomes the root bridge because of the lowest MAC addresses. 0E, not OE. 0E 15 1D C3 3C 9A. Alright. Question number 72. What is a function of remote access VPN? Remote access VPN को function के हो भने option A, used in cryptographic tunneling to protect the privacy of data for multiple users. Use cryptographic tunneling to protect the privacy of data for multiple users. The question says, what is the function of a remote access VPN? Option B says, used exclusively when a user is connected to a company's internal network. Option C says, establishes a source tunneling between two branch sites. Option D says, allows the users to access company internal network resources through a secure tunnel. So option D is the right answer. Question number 73. When a switch receives a frame for a known destination MAC address, how is the frame handled? Option A says, sent to the port identified for the known MAC address, which is the right answer. Sent to the port identified for the known MAC address. Option B is incorrect. It says broadcast to all port, which is incorrect. Option C, forwarded to the first available port, which is incorrect. Option D says flooded to all ports except the one from which is originated, which is also incorrect. If you have a non-MAC address, then it's sent to the port identify for the non-MAC address. Question number 74. What does a router do when configured with the default DNS lookup setting and a URL is entered on the CLI? What does a router do when configured with the default DNS lookup setting and a URL is entered on the CLI? Option A says initiates the ping request to the URL. Option B, prompts the user to specify the desired IP addresses. Option C, continuously attempts to resolve the URL until the command is cancelled. Option D says sends a broadcast message in an attempt to resolve the URL. Option D says sends a broadcast message in an attempt to resolve the URL, which is the right answer. Why other answers are incorrect? Option A says initiates a ping request to the URL, incorrect. Option B, prompts the user to specify the desired IP address, incorrect. Option C, continuously attempts the resolve the URL until the command is cancelled, incorrect. So option D says sends a broadcast message in an attempt to resolve the URL, which is correct. What does biggest question says, what does a router do when configured with the default DNS lookup setting? What does a router do when configured with the default DNS lookup setting and a URL is entered on the CLI? Sends a broadcast message in an attempt to resolve the URL. Question number 75, refer to the exhibit. Router 1 connects to router 2, router 1 connects to router 3, and router 2 has 4 PCs, and router 3 also has 4 PCs interconnected. We're going to skip these questions. So, question number 76. Which attribute does a router use to select the best path when two or more different routes to the same destination exit from two different routing protocol? Which attributes does a router use to select the best path when two or more different routes use the same destination exit from the different routing protocol? A. Dual algorithm. B. Metric. C. Administrative distance. Option D. Hop count. The right answer is option C. Hop count. Administrative distance. Administrative distance is the feature used by routers to select the best path when there are two or more different routes to the same destination from different routing protocol. Administrative distance defines the reliability of a routing protocol. Question number 77. How do TCP and UDP differ in the way that they establish a connection between two endpoints? Option A says TCP uses in synchronization packet and UDP uses acknowledgement packet. One says synchronization, one says acknowledgement packet. Option B, UDP uses SYN, ACK and FIN built in the same header, while TCP uses SYN, ACK and ACK bits. It's weird. Option C says UDP provides reliable message transfer and TCP is a connectionless, which is opposite. Option D says TCP uses the three-way handshake and UDP does not guarantee message delivery. Option D is the right answer. TCP uses the three-way handshake and UDP does not guarantee message delivery. Question number 78. What must be considered when using 802.11 TA? Using 802.11 TA. Option A says it is compatible with 802.1 802 LIB and 802.11 compliant wireless devices. Option B says it is used to place 802.11 BG when many non-overlapping channels are required. Option C says it is susceptible to interface from 2.4 GHz devices such as microwave ovens. Option D says it is chosen over 802.11 B/G when a lower cost solution is necessary. All the options are rubbish. Option A says it is compatible with 802 LIB and 802.11 compliant wireless device. We skip question number 79. Question number 80. Which option about JSON is true? Option A uses predefined tags or angle brackets small quote to delimit markup text. Incorrect. Option B says used to describe structured data that includes arrays. Used to describe structured data that includes arrays. Option C used for storing information. Option D similar to HTML, it is more verbose than XML. Option B is the right answer. Used to describe structured data that includes arrays. So that's all for now up to question number 80. So we're gonna meet on another video from question number 81 to 100. So that's all for now. Thank you so much.